Hey everybody, I'm Alex Wasilenko. I am a meteorologist at WNCT here in Greenville, North Carolina. So I've lived in Greenville for about a year and a half, not too long, coming up on 2 years in February. That's when I started here at WNCT as a first alert meteorologist, working on a morning edition with Maria Satira. And it's been a great time, that year and a half span. I came from Wisconsin before and then Vermont before that. So I've been a northern folk for a long time, but coming down to the south, definitely a great experience so far. Greenville is special to me just because I work at a news station, so I depend on the support of all the viewers out there in Greenville, and not only in Greenville, but also all of Eastern North Carolina, but in particular in Greenville, going grocery shopping or to the department stores. It's always nice to see friendly faces and people that actually want to talk to you about the weather or news or whatever it may be. So the friendliness of Greenville, the welcoming spirit of Greenville is something that I've really enjoyed. So I went to school for atmospheric science, or better known as meteorology. I have a degree in atmospheric science with a broadcast track, and there are many tracks of meteorology or atmospheric science. For instance, you can go into forensic meteorology and studying crime scenes and whatnot. Was the air cold enough for the ground to freeze, for somebody to slip and fall and crack their head or whatnot? So it's very interesting, the field as a whole, but I decided to go into broadcast, and I actually did a little bit of radio work right off the get-go. I didn't have an internship in college. I lived in a very small town in the southwest corner of Vermont, a beautiful state nonetheless, but we had one news station. And that was about 3 hours away, so an internship was just nearly impossible at that point. So what I did was work at a local radio station, delivering forecasts every day there, Monday through Friday, and that was a lot of fun. And then we tracked severe weather too, of course, and got a lot of experience with that. And then an opportunity arose about a year and a half into working in radio for a broadcast job and TV job in Wisconsin, in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And that was a great opportunity, a good foot in the door experience, so to speak. And it led to this experience here in Greenville, and I'm so grateful for it. It's been such a journey through the North Country and then all the way down south, and so we'll see where the journey takes me from here. It's very challenging, honestly. You're in a very comfortable environment at home. You don't feel like you're at work. So it's not just business on top, party on the bottom, like shorts on the bottom, dress shirt on top and tie. I have to go all out or else I don't feel like I'm at work. I have the whole get up going in the morning, the shirt, tie, dress pants, you name it. And I have a little setup in my dining room table just aside from my kitchen. There's a lot of window space in there, so I have to throw blankets up in the windows to keep some of the light out so that the shot isn't overexposed. I have a little setup that's like an arm that reaches out and clasps onto the table. It holds my phone, and I actually have to have 3 devices to use when I'm working from home. I have to have my phone, which outputs the audio and video. I have to have a tablet, which I use my Google Voice for to call the station so I can actually hear what's going on during the newscast and when I'm being cued to do weather. And then I have my laptop, of course, which helps me forecast, and I can remotely log in from home to access the computers at the station. So it is quite the setup. It's been a little frustrating from time to time, but it works. It works for now, and I think that's the best thing, still to being able to deliver a local forecast. And it's of course, during the severe times, during hurricane coverage, we'll come right back into the station and follow those CDC guidelines, social distancing and whatnot. But working from home, not the best of things, but I do love hanging out with my cat a lot when I'm working at home, so there's a positive side to it. So the recent tropical storm and hurricane coverage was a little bit more difficult than most. It was only my second hurricane that I've ever covered. I covered Dorian back in September, and while last September that is, and while forecasting for it, it was pretty difficult, but had a lot of great mentorship to learn the foundations of forecasting for tropical storms and hurricanes here at WNCT. So that was really nice, and I've used that experience and put it forth during our recent coverage of Isaias, and it was much easier on my end of things in the First Alert Weather Center to be able to describe what's going on and the science of everything. And it was a unique experience as well to have a new meteorologist in studio with me too, and having to have teaching moments during that coverage too. It was altogether a great experience, yet obviously a humbling experience with all the devastation and damage that occurred, especially in Bertie County with the tornado there. But it just, I get chills thinking about it, really, just standing here, because what I do for a living affects so many people in the area. And I don't want to get emotional about it, but you feel some kind of guilt when a tornado comes through an area and you're covering it, yet the end result is still some fatalities. So my heart goes out to those folks in Bertie County and the Windsor area. Just know that we did all that we could to give you advance warning about what was going on. I think that was one of the most difficult things during that recent hurricane and tropical storm coverage, hearing all the reports coming in of trees down on cars and houses. Some gentleman that I knew on Facebook just built a new house after Florence and lost it during this last tropical storm. So there's a lot of damage, but I know that Eastern North Carolina, we are ENC strong, we are Bertie strong, and we are going to get through it with a lot of care, compassion, and love. I just know that that's how Eastern North Carolina works. The last 3 months has significantly changed me as a person. I've been a person who's always been pretty laid back and pretty quiet, and yes, has opinions about certain things, but won't really vocalize them because I don't want to stir the pot. But now is the time to stir the pot and to bring to surface those emotions, those opinions that you're feeling, giving a voice to the voiceless, and also standing up for what's right. So the last 3 months between the pandemic, racial inequality in the country, and all the things going on in the world, it is best to speak up for what you believe in. Even if there are people that may disagree with you, there is always common ground that can be found, and I've learned that over the last 3 months for sure. My biggest dream would probably to get back to the New England area, to the Northeast at some point in my career, maybe not right away. I'm really enjoying traveling around the country and meeting new people and doing new things. So my ultimate dream would probably be to forecast for friends and family back home in New England and the Northeast. I'm always getting questions about what's the weather going to be here, what's the weather going to be there, and so maybe to quell those questions a little bit, I can just forecast for my local scene back in New England at some point. What inspires me the most? That's a good question. I would have to say that my parents inspire me the most. It sounds like a very typical answer for who may inspire you the most, but my parents inspire me the most. They've always pushed me to do my best no matter where I am in my collegiate career or in my career in general right now, whether it's 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away. They've always had my back. They're hardworking people. They've made an honest living. They've lived out their dream. They've always wanted a log home in the mountains of Vermont. That's what they have now, and so just seeing that come to fruition, it's inspirational really. It makes me able to think that my goals are reachable too, and so that is who inspires me the most. Okay, so the last 3 months have been really hectic, really chaotic, really crazy, lots of changes, but there's always room to find some inspiration in those tough times, or friendly people, or new connections to make. It is a great time when things are kind of being stirred around and swirled around to reach new heights and to experience new things and to try out new things. So one piece of advice that I think I would offer through these last 3 months and moving forward as we continue with the pandemic and all these issues that we may have in the country right now is just to speak your mind, be vocal about what you believe in, and also believe in science. That's something that I think is really important. I think that believing in science, coming from a science background, is really important nowadays. Data, that is fact, and that is something that we should believe in, and I think that everybody should too. So when data comes out, whether it's about the pandemic, racial injustice, or otherwise across the country, I think science is important when it comes to all those matters, and science really could probably bring the world together. So let's try and do that.